Welcome back. Yesterday, I went to my local medical skin spa, Rejuv Ave in Fenton, Michigan, where I go for all of my in-office facial treatments and procedures. At yesterday's appointment, I had Botox performed, which is something that I do about every 4 months religiously. If it's not exactly 4 months, it may be about a week shy, but I typically never go over the 4-month mark. Now, when I go in for my Botox treatment every 4 months, there is still Botox remaining. You don't want all of your Botox to break down because you want to prevent that muscle movement from taking place. That will avoid having those fine lines and wrinkles that you see, even if it's discoloration from making the motion with your muscles. Well, today I want to take you along as I get my Botox performed. I always see the same nurse. She does all of my Botox throughout the year. And when I leave the skin spa, I always make my next appointment, like I said, in about 4 months. So it's something I stay on top of. I have been utilizing Botox since I was in my 30s, and I believe that has paid off well because starting with Botox so early means that my muscles in the area that I have Botox injected has prevented me from years of using those muscles. So I do believe that Botox is a wonderful preventative for muscle contraction later on down the road in seeing some of those permanent lines, even like I said, discoloration. Now, it's important to understand that Botox is not a filler, although people who are not educated often will say, oh my gosh, they have too much Botox. And usually when you hear someone say that, they're actually referring to the person having too much filler. I can talk in depth about filler because I have many years under my belt utilizing fillers as well. I've taken a step back from having fillers injected. So right now I don't have any filler. I just have Botox, which again, I had performed yesterday. Now, it takes a few days to have your Botox completely, I say, kick in. So I would say about day 5, I can start to see a little bit of a difference with my facial expressions. And then I would say by about day 10 to day 12, the Botox has fully kicked in. I also typically do a little check-in about 2 weeks after my Botox has been injected to have my nurse see if there's anything that needs to be tweaked. It's easier to add than take away, so we always go a little bit more conservative, and then at that 2-week mark, if she needs to put a couple more units in, she will, and often that is the case. Because I do other in-office treatments, for example, I have a Diamond Glow coming up at the 2-week mark, I will schedule my little Botox touch-up appointment, which just takes a couple of minutes when I have something else going. And that part is just having a great system with my calendar and staying on top of my schedule. When I get Botox, it's about 50 units every single time. If you were to look at my profile or my account at Rejuv Ave, you will see that every 4 months, it's 50 units performed, and it's all in this area. I have had Botox administered in other areas, and I simply just wasn't a fan. But I believe that everyone is different. Some people do Botox on the upper lip because they have those fine lines and they want to relax those muscles. That's not an area of concern for me, so I don't need it. Just like all treatments and procedures, it's always about what your concern is, and then you let the technician or the nurse be the expert of what plan and how many units and where those units are injected, what's best for you. Just over 2 weeks ago, I shared another video that I took footage at Rejuv Av Skin Spa when I had my third treatment of microneedling with PRP. I will have that video in the description box below. I really encourage you check that out. I also asked in that video if you would be interested in me sharing a video on all the treatments and procedures that I've done throughout my years of once I started, and what I felt served me and what I didn't really see an ROI or return on investment. Again, I never really have experienced anything that I've regretted with the facial treatments that I do. There's just certain treatments and procedures that, looking back, if I would have known that I'm really just not a good candidate or I didn't have the results I desired, I probably wouldn't have invested my money there. The Botox that I get done, there's a package, there's a special that comes out 2 times per year at Rejuv Av. One time falls in the spring and one time in the fall. And I take advantage of those savings when they run the special. And the one that I take advantage of is called the Super Botox, which I believe is 350 units. Well, if you do the math, and I get 50 units administered every 4 months, you can imagine how long my 350 units last me. So I am only paying for Botox maybe every 2.5 years or so. I believe the next time I will probably take advantage of that Super Botox special is in spring of 2025. So there is nothing better than going in for your in-office treatment and procedure. And when you're done, you just walk out. I don't even need to check out unless I'm making my next appointment, because I'm all covered and paid for and everything is in the bank. I currently have 166 units left in my Botox account. So like I said, I am good to go until probably about spring of 2025. One of the other advantages to having Botox is because you are you get accustomed to not using those muscles, because when the Botox is in, you essentially aren't using those expression muscles up here that show all of the lines and the 11s right here and around your eyes. So you become conditioned and trained not to use those muscles. So even as your Botox breaks down, because you're so accustomed to not using the muscles, you really don't even start using them. Some people have a trouble spot that breaks down earlier than others or sooner than others, and I do, and it's over here. And because my Botox hasn't completely kicked in, if I lift my eyebrows, you may see some lines right here. I don't know if the camera's picking them up. Well, that's my stubborn area. So often when I get my Botox performed and I go back 2 weeks later to have the nurse see how everything came in, she has to add a couple units in this area. I just call it my stubborn area. But I love Botox. If you are in a position or find interest in getting Botox to tame that muscle movement, especially for the long term, I see women in their 20s that they're very expressive up here, and when they think, they're really using those forehead muscles, and what's happening is those lines are becoming permanent. Even if you start doing Botox later in life, often you will have red lines. They almost look like scars because you had so many years of contracting that muscle. So I think Botox is wonderful to start as early as your budget allows, because it is an investment and it is something to keep up with. If you're younger, it's highly unlikely you would need as many units as someone my age. But it's hard telling. Everyone is different because everyone uses their muscles in different areas, but a good technician, your nurse, will be able to detect exactly. They'll have you make a series of expressions to see what areas that you would use, and then that's where they administer the Botox. So as always, go to a reputable source and someone who you can trust. And I believe there's power in going to the same technician, because because they know you. They've worked with you so long. It's such a smooth process. When I go in to see my nurse, Landra, she just knows. Is everything the same? Is there anything more we're tweaking? She knows all the protocols when it comes to my face. So trust the expert, listen to them, instead of listening to kind of the noise or what other people tell you. If this has been something on your radar, again, maybe you're young and you're thinking, oh, it just seems so weird to start this at such a young age. Believe me, I highly doubt you will regret that decision. You don't have to share it with anyone. I choose to share because of what I do, and I want to help other women step into their power and do the things that they love to do or that they feel would enhance their beauty. By no means is it a confidence thing, although for some people it may be. We all have a different story. We all have a different journey. I am someone who I take great care of myself when it comes to the inside and the outer shell. So to me, this just enhances and complements all the work that I put in. By no means does Botox make you look younger, in my opinion. I don't believe it makes anyone look younger. I think you have a more rested look. I think that's the biggest thing, is you just look more rested. And I love it, and I just want to speak highly about it because of how in favor I am. So if this speaks to you, I hope that what I shared today can help you to make that decision. Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed this content. Be sure to check out the other video and what's on your radar for 2024. And if you would like me to do that video on what's on my radar for 2024 and what I've done in the past that I've loved, I continue to do, or I will do again, or something that I just found I wasn't the best candidate for, but you may be a great candidate for that. So let me know. Don't forget, I have a workshop coming up later this month on Saturday, February 24th, where I walk you through my self-growth personal daily documents. A lot of you have been waiting for this workshop, and it's coming really soon. This has been such a game changer that I implemented in 2023 in quarter 2, and then in quarter 4 I completely optimized the system, and I shared a lot of it in my quarter 1 goals workshop, which is on the replay tab. But this is a workshop where I go more in depth so that you can address your blind spots, your triggers, and little reminders to yourself that you are amazing, that you do good work, you do hard work. You, my friends, step into your power. And those little self-driving mantras, those are so powerful in our trajectory and how we handle ourselves, how we handle our relationships, and how we feel about ourselves. So I encourage you to jump on board and take advantage of that workshop. All of the details, including a video where I talk more in depth, will be on the course page. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you soon right here on YouTube. And be sure to be following me on Instagram stories and sign up for that newsletter. It comes out a few days per week. Take care.